With Coach Boynton, as Oklahoma State wraps up another successful run on its schedule, the Cowboys now winners of 4 in a row, and in this 7-game pocket that we've talked about, with several home games, some challenging home games, winnable road games, you won 6. So the only loss was at Texas. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, and that Texas without Musa Cisse,
Yeah.
which is significant, although some people try to ignore it. But feel good that we were able to really take care of business in a part of our schedule where we had several home games. And our student crowd has been phenomenal in helping us. Started with our Bedlam home game here, first game back for our students, and just continued on with Iowa State, and then obviously got a road win in there for Bedlam as well for the sweep. So just a really good place for us to be. Obviously put ourselves in great position as we go through the last half of conference play to really be playing significant basketball in the latter part of February.
It's funny, of course, wins take on all types of personalities. Games take on all types of personalities. Kalib Boone got off to an incredible start against TCU, and he finished really strong in that game. Texas Tech, it was the opposite. He didn't score early, didn't score in the first half, but late in the game, as has been the case in some close wins recently, he was one of the guys that came through in a big way.
Yeah, he's a guy we've been really, game planning to get us off to a good start, and he's delivered for the most part. But what in this conference, with as good coaches as there are, no one's going to just let you play your A game or let you throw your fastball and not be able to time it up some. So, we had to go to our slider last night a little bit, and it was good enough last night, although we weren't as sharp as we've been, to get us through the game and over the hump. And obviously, any win's a good win in this conference, and you take it how you can get it, and look forward to trying to get better here as we move forward and start this tough road stretch as we got coming up.
You found out earlier in the week, the Monday before the game Wednesday against Texas Tech, that Avery Anderson was going to be out for at least several weeks, had wrist surgery, game day of the Texas Tech game. Were you concerned going into the Tech game that there might be some sort of emotional issue with your guys, as much as Avery seems to be respected, learning that, oh boy, our good friend is out for a while? Did you have any concern thinking, I hope our guys mentally are okay? Because that's not easy when a guy that is as respected as he is and as liked as he is, you find out he's out for a while. Yeah,
injuries always present a different dynamic for each team. And we've had injuries even with this team, with Musa.
Sure.
And so the surgical part of it, I think, created a different dynamic.
Okay.
Because on Saturday when we played, we knew internally he wasn't going to play, but no one knew he was going to be out or was going to require surgery.
Right.
And so maybe he'll miss today. We'll figure out a way to rally the troops and get it done. He'll be back. Well, then Monday comes and he's got surgery, so he's not going to play for a while. And we got to embrace that new reality for our team. And everybody's got to get their minds around that he may not play again for us. And what does that look like? And so I think psychologically there was certainly an effect on each individual guy, certainly the people he's closest with, Chris and Kalib, because they've been here with him for 3 years. They've seen him play every game. He's been eligible for, and he's a warrior competitively. And so to know that you're missing that piece certainly played a factor in the game. But like I said, I'm glad we rallied enough. I thought Keon Williams gave us some great minutes in the Texas Tech game. I thought Tyreek Smith gave us some great minutes. And, really significant 2.5 minutes from Naz Brown really made a difference for us getting through.
Yeah, you mentioned Brown. He comes in, and one of the first things he does is gave you some success, and something you were struggling to do is get the ball inside. I mean, he got his hands on the ball within a split second. It was to Musa.
Yeah, we threw a cross-court skip pass to him, and he had a guy closing out to him and just made a good decision to drive it, draw a second defender, and make a nice bounce pass in there for a finish. So, he's been practicing well, and obviously his number was called, and he delivered in a situation, albeit a small time frame on the court, but a big impact on us being able to get through that half, get Bryce Thompson some rest because he's been logging a lot of minutes, get John Michael a little bit of rest, and just kind of hold the line as we got those guys through the halftime.
Okay, you've used a couple of terms, warrior and good decisions. John Michael Wright in his own way may be following sort of a couple of those terms, if you will. Number one, some big plays down the stretch, and then the decision he made at the end of the game, Bryce Thompson misses a shot, he goes to the offensive glass, he's unchecked, he gets a tip in. with less than a second to play, and it was a winning play because you typically would want him back for fast break defense, correct? But
yes.
He made the comment to us during our radio post game that, hey, I realized on the clock that that was going to be a non-issue. So my instincts just said go to the glass.
Yeah, I mean, it shows this awareness and experience of being in those situations before, seeing what the clock said and making a decision that this is probably going to be the last shot of the game. Because at .4, even if they get the rebound, it's going to be a heave. So the fact that he had that awareness gave us an opportunity for him to make a big play for us. And obviously it gave us ultimately the win. But, yeah, he's been really, really playing well, stepping up in big moments, had some big shots in our win against TCU, and obviously delivered the game winner last night. But his defense is also something that's getting better.
You know, it's funny, the last 2 weeks, for the most part, he has been a different guy. Production's gone up. I'm sure the lineup changes played a role in that. Did you feel like at some point maybe he was questioning his confidence, or was it more just of a getting into the right flow situation? Because he even looks like a different guy just as he carries himself now compared to maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, the confidence, or lack thereof, came from just not knowing where he fit with this group. You know, he's been a really, really big-time scorer, a guy who was the primary playmaker for his team for 3 years. And so to adjust that, and you got to find a fine line between deferring to Avery and Bryce and Kalib and continue to be your aggressive, natural, talented self. And I think he's found a little bit of groove, which unfortunately was aided by Avery going out, because then we needed him to step into a more aggressive role with Avery's aggressiveness going out of the game and something he feels really, really comfortable with. So we definitely need him to continue to play well if we're going to continue to have success in our conference. And I'm glad that he's looking to be more aggressive here the last couple games.
Speaking of aggressive, Bryce Thompson had all 21 of his points in the first half, and he made his first 9 shots. What did you like about how he started when he made his first 9 shots and got off to just a blazing start?
I like that nothing was forced. Everything was kind of taken within the structure of what Texas Tech's defense was giving us. It seemed like they were really focused on not allowing Kalib Boone to get easy baskets. And so even in our pick and roll situations, they really weren't coming over to help. So he was able to get all the way to the rim on several of them. And so he started to see the ball go in the basket early, which gave him a lot of confidence. Then they made the adjustment that they were going to also be aggressive, taking him away and take away Kalib, which they were effective at. But we got a couple easy baskets from Keon Williams. Caleb Asbury makes a 3. Woody Newton makes a 3. And we get contributions from other guys. And then obviously John Michael Wright makes a late play. But I loved his aggressiveness, but also his lack of he didn't really force anything or take bad shots to get there.
So next up is a trip to Ames, Iowa, which is always difficult. And if you just take a moment and get on your computer and look at their home production, their home performance versus their road, as is true for most teams, but they have beaten some good teams soundly in Ames. The good news for you is the last time you went up there, you held them to 36 points in their building, which was as low an output as they had in their own building in probably 40, 50 years. So, interesting contrast there. An Iowa State team has played really well at home, but for a lot of your guys, you were part of a team that really just locked them up in Ames last year.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have some confidence with the guys who've been here, knowing that we're capable of performing well there. But we also know that they've been playing much better there this year than even last year, particularly just really running away from Kansas just last week in a way that doesn't really happen in our conference. And coming off a loss similarly to what they did midweek last week and coming back home. There'll be an unbelievable environment in there. They're kind of trying to fight for positioning in the standings just like everybody else is. And so we'll have to prepare really well over the next couple of days to give ourselves a chance to be there with in the last 4 minutes and maybe have to make some plays like we did last night.
So a big road game at Iowa State, but what a great run it's been for the Cowboys, winners of 6 and 7 and in position to make the NCAA tournament. We'll catch up with you next week. Until then, thanks for watching.